I'm like a phobbyist Indian, like anyone can find. Like you go to India, you'll probably find like hundreds and millions of guys just like me.
Welcome to a very special two-part video. This video is going to be a little different than most of the stuff that you've seen on this YouTube channel. We're going to interview our very own Indian PE, which is about as much of a rags to riches story in terms of being successful with women that I've ever seen. This going to be a two-part interview, and yes, it maybe gets a little repetitive and drags out at times, but I highly, highly, highly recommend you guys watch it to the very end because it's full of value and is an extremely inspiring story for whoever is struggling right now. All right, so Mr. Indian PE. Um, Basically, the point of this interview is to kind of uncover your story, which I feel like is quite interesting when you told it to me. And I feel like a lot of people will relate to it and find a lot of value in it.
Mhm.
And also just share who the fuck you are because people have heard of you, people have seen you
Yeah.
posting, but like you're like kind of like this like mystery character, like some like Indian Batman, like fucking like
Fighting crime against
yeah,
against
fighting crime by day, helping random dudes with their text game by night, like occasionally posting an article video on the Playing with Fire site. So it's like, is
yeah.
he part of Playing with Fire? Is he not? Um, do Alex and David like have one of his family members hostage or something like that and making them help? So yeah, so we're gonna get to the bottom of all that. So basically, let's start off by just basically share your give me like the cliff notes on like your story, like how, and I'll ask you more detailed questions, but how did you find the game, what were your results like, and then all that.
Okay. Um, yeah. I mean, to start off, I'm like I'm like a phobbyist Indian, like anyone can find. Like you go to India, you'll probably find like hundreds and millions of guys just like me. My age group probably have the similar accents, similar 7-Eleven accents. Um, like I'm just a regular old guy. If I look back in India, um, like I have a bunch of friends who are my age and like they are still virgins. So that's how I guess backwards our society is, like still in India, like in the South India area, it's similar to this. Yeah, so I was just really like social, but like I was just social in a very platonic way or like on a surface level. In ninth and tenth grade, I got bullied by this guy. Like he used to make a lot of fun of me. It was also like he used to make a lot of fun of me in a way which would not which would not make me feel bad at all. Like it did not feel insulting, but like we used to make like the whole class laugh about it or something,
I'm
And like
not to
I
interrupt, but I'm just imagining like a Fabi Indian making fun of another Fabi Indian. look at Look at me, my name is Nitin, I sound like an Indian man.
yeah, that's way too fobby, yeah. But yeah, like so it was basically that. But I learned a lot in that during that time because I mean like I had like during that time I actually had like zero friends because like everyone was getting on the bandwagon to like try to bully me.
Oh,
Like even
damn.
my best friend like turned against me like for no fucking reason. What a fucking dick. Yeah, so like I learned a lot. Like I learned to like take everything in a funny way. Like because that's when I had to like develop my sense of humor because I mean it was either that or like cope into or get into like depression or some shit. So like that's when like my sense of humor started off in 11th and 12th grade. Like I used to like make fun of a lot of fucking lecturers. like they used to hate me so much because like I started developing sense of humor, and I was like, ah, hell yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of use of it. And like
Wait,
there were so many hardships. Like
was that like a unique thing in India, like having a sense of humor? Was that like something that was like a little unheard of?
yeah, I mean, not a lot of people are have sense of humor. Like, I mean, they're like quite uptight, but I mean, I do have friends who are like really good, really social, and they have good sense of humor. But that's because like I only hang out with such people because I don't want to hang out with anyone who like keeps making excuses the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I mean, so yeah, basically, yeah, I learned my sense of humor from there, and I knew that like okay, if you make a girl laugh, I know she would like me, right? That was like that was my go-to. So I used to like just make girls laugh and whatever, and like I used to just be like, hey, I like you, I want to take you out on a date. And then the girls used to be like, hey, I'm just not ready, I just want to be friends or some shit, you know.
This was back in
And I
India,
was
right?
like, yeah, this was back in India. So I it didn't fucking make sense to me. Like I thought, okay, well, I thought I was making her laugh. She's supposed to like me, right? What the fuck? Anyway, like I tried to do this like a lot with a lot of girls, and everyone used to like fucking friend zone me. But because like I just do not realize what why that was happening.
Yeah.
So like
Wait, shit.
like I
Did it feel bad when I friend zoned you?
yeah I took it to my heart.
Oh,
It's still mending right now.
I'm sorry. All right, so go. So sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I was it was like this until what I was still 21. It was just like this. I liked this girl. There was this one girl when I was 18 to 19, 19 to 20, which I really liked. She liked me too, but like there was no fucking sexual tension or like that. Like I used to be so afraid of flirting. I didn't even know how to flirt. So I used to be like a nice guy. I used to like fucking write her assignments in hopes of her liking me back, which was like such a fucking bad way now when I look back. And my best friend did not know that I liked that girl. And my best friend like knew, like he had a couple of girlfriends before that, so he knew how to like at least like talk to women. So he started dating her, and like basically he ended up dating her for like 2 years, just because I was a pussy and I did not let her know that I fucking liked her, that it's okay for her to like me back too.
I see.
So yeah,
And then what
uh,
age did you come to America at?
21. I came in 2012.
Okay, so you came here in 2012. So basically, in India, you weren't the pimp Indian. Let's just say you weren't cleaning up in
Nah,
in the streets of South India. So then you came to America, 21, and you are how old now?
I'm 28. I just turned 28 in Jan.
Okay, so you're a year younger than me. So you came to America when you were 21. And then what happened like during your first few years in America?
Oh, I mean, like, even though I was in India, I think this is one of my best strengths. Even though I was in India, I was like, I watched a lot of American shows because I always had the dream to go to this country because my brother came here like back in 2004, and like I could see that he was having a lot of good times. So I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, eventually I want to go there. So I'll just start to learn the culture. So I used to watch like a lot of American TV shows, How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, Two Broke Girls, like a lot of shows. All of these shows like made me learn a little bit of like American culture and their humor, like something which I can relate to. Yeah, so I was expect like I was even watching all these fucking movies, whatever movies came out, and like I used to watch a lot of American Pie, and I used to think, holy shit, oh fuck, the college life will be so fucking amazing. Hopefully, I'll get laid there eventually. That's what I was thinking. So when I so when I came to America when I was 21, I was expecting this is what's gonna happen. Like I'm just gonna go to a party and then like fucking girls are gonna just come into my lap and then give me a lap dance or some shit. That's what I was thinking. And then when I did come here, it was a reality check.
Wait, what?
I ended up
I was under the impression that when an Indian man rolls up into America for the first time, the American girls just jump in his lap. That's not what happens.
no, that's what I was hoping that there were like 10 tall white blondes like uh, holding up a poster with my name, you know.
Mr. Indian PE, you come to me. All right,
Yes.
so interest. Okay, so then what? So you had a reality check. Can you kind of like elaborate on that? Like what exactly happened?
Yeah, like I realized that it's not as easy as it looks on TV, which should have been which should have been a very obvious conclusion even before like coming here. Yeah, so basically you realize that it's not easy like getting girls in America, at least for an Indian who just like came to the country recently. Um, yeah, so I ended up like just flocking together with a bunch of other Indian dudes. All we used to do like throughout my masters for 2 years,
Where,
which I did in.
to back up, where were you living at the time?
Oh, I was living in Springfield, Illinois.
Okay.
It's a university town basically. It's just the universe. The university is a city.
Okay, so you were going to like a big public school, and you were what having you and your gang of Indians were having, I'm assuming, no success, or
Oh, no success at all. If anything, we were like fucking bitching about girls and shit. we were we were just smoking hookah, um, eating chicken 65, eating a lot of chicken biryani, like a lot of Indian food. So like believe it or not, I was actually 195 pounds at the end of my masters.
damn. Okay, and then just well, this is completely unrelated, but what weight were you when you first came to America?
I was like 163.
Yeah, I think that's like really common. Like when anyone like from like any other country comes to America, they just get fat because like in their country they're used to eating like more or less decent food, and they come to America and it's just like fast food central. So they're like, yeah, I think that's like super common. But that's like a side tangent. Okay, so you finish your masters. You're kind of fat now. Um, and you still had no success with women.
No success, zero success. I haven't even kissed a girl.
Oh, damn. Okay. And you're
So
23, 24.
yeah, at 23 by the end of my masters.
It's funny because your story, okay, so your story is like a much more extreme version of my story. Like,
Hmm.
I probably kissed a girl for the first time when I was like 17, 18, but like, yeah, like I was also like struggling, but like my struggle does not compare to your struggle. I was also like
Hmm.
always, I was always like really funny. So that's like, yeah, obviously that's self-evident to anyone who's listening to this, um, but basically like, yeah, I thought also like, yeah, if I can just make girls laugh, like everything would take care of itself. I didn't like really understand anything else. So I kind of had to like,
Yeah.
I also had to like, and I thought the problem was, okay, so you thought the problem was India. I thought the problem was my high school. I was like, yeah, I just go to a weird high school. When I get to college, like everything will take care of itself, right? I also had that fantasy. And then I get to
Yeah.
college and nothing takes care of itself. I still have the same exact issues. So, but yeah, like yours is just like a much more like extreme version of that, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened after that? You finish your masters. You're kind of fat now. What happened? What's life next for Indian PE?
So like, I mean, I realized that I almost accepted my reality that I'm just gonna like I'm just gonna stay this way. Probably just gonna marry like an Indian three, uh, arranged marriage where what like my parents decide for me, whatever. Like I almost accepted my reality to be that.
In
So I was
the
like, okay, I
arranged
think
marriage
so.
life,
Huh?
the arranged
Yeah.
marriage life. like
Yeah, yeah. The
that's the good thing about being like okay, not to go on another tangent, but like that's the good thing about being an Indian incel because at least you can like have the arranged marriage. If you're like a white person, you can't get laid. You don't have no arranged marriage backup. You're just fucked.
yeah,
So that's like the one advantage I would say. It's like at least you got that like backup.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Worst case scenario. Yep.
Yeah, dude. Like if I didn't figure it out, who's gonna set up an arranged marriage for me? There's gonna be no arranged marriage in my family. I'm just gonna be like, I don't know, resort to drugs and alcohol, I suppose. But okay. So what happened next?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, at least I'll see. Like, I mean, the other norm is that if I have money, maybe that's when girls will flock to me, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll at least get my career together. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just become a developer. So I did some contract jobs, and so I was like moving around, doing contract jobs. I was even staying with family for like 2 years because I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I mean, I'm probably gonna have a family eventually, so might as well train myself to have a family. So I was, I was like living with family for 2 years, and like I was like, okay, maybe this is what life is supposed to be for an average looking Indian dude. Um, I did go to gym like for like 4 months. I did some CrossFit and I lost a ton of weight. So I was actually looking good, and when I started to look good, I used to watch like a lot of prank videos, and then I mean one thing led to another. I came across R- RSD Tyler. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I saw those videos and I was like, holy shit, maybe this thing would be a way for me to get out of this arranged marriage shit. That's
Okay.
what I was thinking. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll just try this out. So I was like, I started going out in Washington D.C. Every weekend, twice, Friday and Saturday. Like even when my friends did not come, I used to do that. I should just like fucking drench myself in alcohol, like have like 3 4 pegs of whiskey or some shit, and like see go and see if I could approach girls. And I used to do terrible. Like even till now, like even till this point, I still haven't kissed a girl yet. But, I was like what 24, 25. So yeah, I still
So
haven't kissed a
you were
girl.
going. How long did this period last? Where you were just going out every single weekend but seeing no results?
Oh, this was for like 2 months, 3 months,
So
2 3 months.
what would happen? Like run me through your typical like night back then. You would go to a bar or club, and then what would happen?
Oh, I would say whatever the first thing in my head, because that's what RSG used to teach. Say whatever is on your head, right? And I used to say it, and probably it used to come across super creepy. Like the girls used to laugh, and then like they used to like wait and see if I'm gonna say something else. And if I never said anything else, they would just leave. So like it was basically like a bunch of even using some canned lines here and there. Like I was like, oh yeah, Julian said this in that video, so he must have gotten laid. So I must use the same thing, and maybe I'll get laid. That's what I was thinking. And yeah, I tried a bunch of shit, but never really stuck. And yeah, my contract job in Virginia ended, and I had to move to St. Louis together with my family
Mm-hmm.
because they were moving too. And I had recently gotten a full time remote job. I could work from anywhere as long as I had the internet. So that was like the best thing that happened to me after all this shit. Even though like yeah, I mean that was the best thing which happened to me. Um, so yeah, like I moved to St. Louis, and I was like, okay, yeah, I mean I'm still committed. I know St. Louis might not be as big a town as Washington D.C., but I'm still gonna go out. So I met this guy who used to go to my university in Masters. Like he was just an acquaintance back then, but then but then since I realized that he was like the only friend I had in St. Louis, I might as well ask him to learn a little bit game and then wing with him.
Okay.
So me and him used to like go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He was okay. He was like committed too, but like not fully bought in. Like he used to make a lot of excuses or something. Like he used to be like, oh, I don't know, maybe approaching girls is super creepy.
That's definitely the mindset you want to have when you're going out.
Yeah, and then like he's one of those guys who lost his virginity to a hooker. I mean, I was still a virgin back then, so I'm not the one to talk. So yeah, he lost his virginity to a hooker. So it was difficult for him to like carry on the momentum or whatever, because like he was even like in between jobs, he didn't want to waste time or money. So I was like, okay, well, I feel like I should just look for new wings. I'm in St. Louis for a long time, so might as well look for wings. And then I posted a thread in RSD Inner Circle Chicago, which is like 200 miles, yeah, 260 miles from St. Louis. And yeah,
To me, not to sorry to interrupt, but to me the backstory is, I guess, like, probably most people don't know this. Me and Indian PE went to Colombia, and so I got to know you pretty well over that month. And to me, the most impressive thing about you is your like just like crazy work ethic, just like your crazy determination. And it's like highly admirable because most people don't have that. Vast majority, 99% of people don't have that. You have this like hunger, right? Like hunger to succeed. And basically, I think like most people would have just straight up given up by like that point. Like, you have been going out for like a year and you haven't kissed a girl
mhm.
yet. Like, dude, I would have given up. Like, thank God I fucking saw results faster than that. Like, uh, you know, you know, just being a tall white guy kind of helps, I guess, a little bit. No, I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
I was doing so. The thing is, I was doing some things right, but most things wrong. It sounds like you were doing
mhm.
most things wrong.
Yeah,
But yeah, like it's just crazy, like how you stayed committed, even though like you just had this like such a long period of like zero results. Like, just like I just
mhm.
think that like 99% of people would have given up.
Yeah, for sure. Like I mean, uh, like even when I talk to like my Indian friends back from school or like even college, whenever I tell them, yo, this is what I'm doing right now, they're like, fuck that, it's not gonna work for me because I'm just an average looking guy. That's what every guy ever says in India. Like everyone makes excuses.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that more among like the like in the Indian community. Like, that's definitely like a cultural limiting belief that I find is very common with Indian guys. It's just like it's like it's like this like I'm fucked mentality, sort of like I'm Indian, thus I can never be successful. Which is not true. Like, there's
Exactly.
plenty is just factually not true. But
Exactly.
yeah, unfortunately, like a lot of Indian guys believe that, and they just don't have like your determination. But anyway, so okay, so what happened? So you post in this Chicago group.
Yeah, RSD Inner Circle Chicago, and enter David Swift. Like he comments on the
Oh
post.
shit, is that my business partner?
Yes.
Oh, I know that guy. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he comments on my post. He's like, yeah, hey, I'm in St. Louis too. Uh, and then I'm like, okay, cool. I live in this area. He's like, what the fuck? I live in that area too. And then like when he gives me his address, he's like 2 miles away from me. That's it. So I was like, hell yeah, okay, fine. Some guy is there to win. Uh, I don't care about the Indian who started making excuses to go out. So I'm just gonna win with this new guy now. So when I met David Swift, I was like, holy shit, this guy's fat. How the hell is he getting laid? Like he told me like over text, over messenger itself, like, oh yeah, yeah, I just fucked a girl from Tinder, like she was super hot or some shit. And I was like, holy shit, yeah, that's good. And then yeah, he comes and sits in my car, and like 5 minutes later he's like showing all his text screenshots already. Like he's like saying, oh, this girl is saying this, or she's showing me titty pics, all that shit. Like, okay, well, I guess he's DHVing DHVing to me,
Oh, typical,
just so
typical
like.
David. Okay, so you link up with David, and yeah, that's pretty funny. Like your reaction, like holy shit, this guy's fat. How is he getting laid? Because like that was kind of my reaction as well when I met David. I'm like, okay, David likes to bring the story up, but basically before I ever met him, like when I randomly stumbled upon David's group online, and like I like started like just grilling him because he was posting a lot of lay reports, and I was like
Yeah,
grilling him because I was like, okay, like this guy has to be full of shit, but and
yeah,
like he's not like so he like passed every whatever like every question I threw at him, but I was just trying to
mhm,
like I was like, okay, this guy has this popular group. This is like a little bit in the future after we met him, but like this guy has this popular
yeah,
group. He's posting all these stories, but he's fat. So like why is he doing so good? So yeah,
yeah,
that was also my reaction when I stumbled upon our mutual friend. So okay, so what happens after that?
yeah. So me and David like started going out. Okay, like the first day itself, like me and David go to this club I used to go. Like I was like a regular there. Like they knew exactly what I used to drink. I used to just drink water, but like they knew exactly what I used to drink. So because like they saw me quite often. So I went with David to that club, and I go and approach this really hot chick in front of him, and like she gives me like an instant rejection for like 20 after 20 to 30 seconds. Okay,
Mhm.
all this is happening while David is silently sipping his beer. Like yeah, he was sipping his beer. All this, I mean, so he was like watching me. He watched me. He watched me get rejected, and then I went back. So he was like starting to give me feedback already. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, like this guy clearly gets late, so I have to listen to him. Uh,
That's how it works.
so so yeah, he was giving me feedback. He was like, okay, listen, like, so you are the stereotype of an Indian IT guy. Like when girls see you, they perceive you as an Indian IT guy. So you have to like try to overcome that first with like your body language, your tonality, but also mainly your fashion. So you should tell me all that. But then like since I was already into like RSD for like for a year by then, like I was just watching a lot of videos. So I was like, okay, I mean RSD tells me this and David tells me this, but I've stuck with RSD for a long time, so I'll keep listening to RSD. So I was just yeah. So that was, I mean, RSD, like if you're a beginner, then RSD is the worst thing you can have, because like they fucking make you develop this ego that whatever you're doing is right, even though you don't get results, and all these they have these techniques to make you backward. I mean, make you rationalize the lack of your results.
Yep, yep.
So
Spot on.
yeah,
Exactly. Like
yeah,
it's just rationalizing why you're failing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, I mean, also rationalizing that it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
It's not the end goal that matters. It's not about you getting laid that matters. That's so fucked up. That's so fucking weird.
I
Anyway,
mean, I
yeah.
think
So
I think the most like poisonous thing that RSD teaches is that like sexual market value doesn't matter, and it's
mm,
so preposterous. Like because it's like intuitively everyone knows that looks matter, like how you dresses matter, how you present
yeah,
yourself matters, and then like RSD brainwashes you into thinking that none of that matters. Like you dress like shit, whatever, blah 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 blah, and it doesn't matter, it has zero effect. So you're like, okay, I guess it doesn't matter. I remember also when I got into RSD, when I first got into game, I had a buddy who was a natural, and he was like, dude, you should try wearing some of my clothes. Like all your clothes kind of suck. I'm like, but it doesn't
mm,
matter. He's like,
no, it doesn't matter. He's like, try wearing my $200 pants and my $400 shirt, and you'll have different
Yeah.
results. I'm like, bro, it doesn't matter. He's like, no, it matters. Just try. And I actually remember that like I kind of resisted, but then I did try like wearing his clothes, and I got like better reactions when I was like wearing like nice form fitting, fashionable shit. I was like, holy
Mm.
fuck! Like, are, do looks matter? Like, what is going on here? But yeah, okay. So go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was like, I mean, even though I saw that David was getting late, I had this like all this ego built up from listening to RSD, by following RSD. So I was thinking, okay, I mean, like, might as well stick to RSD and shit, you know. So, like, I did know that David was really good at text game. So, like, I had like this horrible Tinder profile, and I used to get like all these fatties matches. So like he used to just go through my Tinder and he used to like randomly fucking blast these girls with weird ass fucking
Mhm.
messages, which I thought were weird, but like he was just trying to blow it up at least, you know, not like how I was texting. I was texting by following RSD Max. He had this fucking text game whatever section in the natural his product. I didn't buy it. I just fucking uh, torrented it. So there was no loss. So anyway, yeah. So like I obviously had terrible game, but because I was following RSD, I thought my game was average or better than average, even though I was still a virgin. Yeah. So yeah, I go out with David like a bunch of times. I go out with him every weekend for 3 months, and during these 3 months, like whenever a girl like whenever let's say when a girl wasn't set with David, I used to see like the girls who used to like fucking light up. He used to get like fucking he used to get himself jerked off by this random girl he met 30 seconds ago in the middle of the bar. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck does this guy even say? It used to baffle me, but then like he used to tell me to focus on my tonality, on my body language, which I still did not understand because like okay, well RG doesn't teach that, though, so maybe that's not how it works. That's what I used to think. And yeah, then David used to point it out. Like he used to be like, "Nah, I mean, like you've tried it out and it's not working. So why are you still trying the same thing?" I mean, and I used to think, okay, maybe my sample size is not big enough. Once it's big enough, then I'll just listen to David. That's what I was thinking. But like David still stuck through. We used to like fucking go to Indian food on Sunday morning. We used to like talk about all this. Like he used to like explain to me how women's psychology works. So that used to be super helpful. But like I couldn't really like put those in like actionable terms for me to uh, use in like cold approach. So I was like, okay, well, I have a job which I can work pretty much from anywhere. What am I still doing in St. Louis? I know David is there, but like I cannot take consistent action because in St. Louis it was only going to be like 2 or 3 nights a week. So I was like, okay, yeah, time to make a change. I'll just move to Vegas and see what I can try to get out of it. So this was like April 2017, almost 2 years ago. Yeah, April 2017. I met David in January 2017, or basically 2 years ago. So yeah, so I game with him for 4 months, and then I moved to Vegas, and then I started gaming. Like I had these couple of wings. They sucked ass, but I had no other options in Vegas because those were the first people who contacted me when I said I was looking for wings in Vegas. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's fucking go out and everything. Like at this point, I got really good with verbals. Like I used to be able to hook girls really well, and maybe even like my tonality or whatever like was at least a little bit. tolerable for girls. Like so, they were like
Tolerable.
sticking to
But you're
me.
still a virgin at this
Yeah,
point, right?
yeah, still a virgin.
Are
I did
have
kiss a
you
girl once.
you kissed a girl once?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're making a little
by
headway.
before I moved to Vegas.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
RSD advice pays off. 2 years of following their theory, and you get a kiss.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I moved to Vegas, and I like fuck yeah, I'm gonna go out every night. So
Mm.
I spent like I think 5 months of continuous going out. Um, 5 months of continuous going out, like going to the club at 11 p.m. and then coming back home at like around 4:30 a.m. I have no clue how I had so much fucking energy to do it, even though I was getting like zero fucking results. I was still getting like these makeouts and pulls now and then, but like horrible LMR. Girls used to get so creeped out. And then my roommate suggested that I did Vegas immersion. Another fucking great suggestion. Fucking shit. So I did Vegas immersion for a month as well. Like in Vegas immersion, like they taught
Dude,
some concepts, but
you're like the wife whose husband beats her like day in after day out, and then she's like still hoping that he's gonna be like pleasant to her one day. Like, yeah, he beats me all the time, but like there was that one time where he
he was
like
nice to me.
didn't
He bought me.
throw water in my face, so there's hope. Maybe we'll just need to go on a second honeymoon. That's like you do in the
Yeah,
American.
exactly.
That's fine.
Second honeymoon equals Vegas
Yeah,
immersion.
but it's funny, but like you're not unique in that sense. Like this is very common. I see this like in the
Mm.
community. It's not even like an RSD thing. It's like people when people invest a lot of time and energy into something, like they sort of get a blind spot, and they don't wanna like admit that it doesn't work, because if they do, that means that they have to admit that they wasted whatever this amount of energy and time and money. So it's like I think there's definitely like a technical scientific term for this, but it's like um, it's funny, but I've seen this like time in and time out, like people just like sticking to RSD for like 5 years despite seeing like zero
Yeah,
results.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean that's their marketing strategy, which works brilliant for them.
Yeah, they are great marketers.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I moved to Vegas, and then like I did Vegas immersion. They did teach a lot of good stuff like the push pull or qualification. Those were like whatever they taught in those whatever areas in game. That was not bad.
But that
But
was that
then
was
that is
before Luke. That was under Todd, right?
no Luke
Oh,
under
oh
under
shit!
Luke.
This is under Fat Luke. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, fat Luke. And like Luke used to teach us to not at all build any sexual tension, like zero fucking sexualizing the conversation, like. And then like I used to like barely do sexualization before Vegas immersion, and during Vegas immersion I did zero sexualization. I used to like just pull girls under like social frame. I couldn't even recognize that it was actually a social frame, but like I used to pull girls under a social frame, but really fucking like I couldn't close. Like I got a couple of blowjobs. I fingered a girl. Like I pushed, I pressured her into like fingering her, like which is so bad. Like I couldn't even recognize that the girl was feeling uncomfortable. Uh,
Okay. Can you tell that story? Because this sounds kind of funny.
oh yeah, this one. This was like I think this was after Vegas immersion, which I still had the same fucking basic concepts in my head that I shouldn't sexualize it at all. Uh, this was like I had this like comp table because I knew this guy who who had connections for comp tables. So this was in Omnia, right behind the DJ table, right behind the DJ. It was a shitty DJ, that's why like we got a free table for it. Um, yeah, so like I opened these two girls, both are fucking hot, and I talk to them and then I get them to the table, and I know that one girl is clearly into me. So like I grind up against her, like pull her hair and make out with her in the club. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is gonna be when I'm gonna pop my cherry. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is definitely gonna happen. So me and that guy, along with the two girls, we go back to my place in Vegas. This was like my first place in Vegas, which was actually super dirty, uh, which was like which was closer to the ghetto area. So like girls used to like fucking freak out halfway
All right, was it better
without
or
me.
worse than that Airbnb we stayed in for 2 hours in Colombia?
Uh, obviously worse.
It was worse than that Airbnb.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit! That is impressive. That you just the fact that you got a girl in there because you could barely pull me to that Airbnb. But okay, so that is just that's got to be like the shithole of shitholes,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. For
Vegas.
sure, for sure. It was like so bad, like super dirty,
There's like a
not even
clown riding a
hygienic.
bike in the hallway. It's like that scene from Beer Fest. Like five people shooting up heroin. Like
Yeah, yeah. Heroin was their hobby there. So
okay, so you pull these girls to this like to the dump, the biggest dump in Vegas.
yeah, and they're like, they were like surprised. What the fuck? How are you guys staying here? You guys just had a table. How the fuck are you guys here? You know? They were like
Yeah,
surprised. How the hell is this place here?
reality crash. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I was so bad, like I didn't even prepare for the pull. Like we had like one shot glass and half a bottle of tequila and no ice, and like we had like this bunch of glasses which my roommate stole it from a restaurant or some shit, like two and three what like glasses. It was so fucking weird. Like even my girl was still seemed down. Like she did not like she did not seem like she wanted to leave. I knew that she wanted to get fucked. But the friend was like, okay, this is so weird. This place is super weird. I want to just take an Uber. That's what she was saying. I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm just gonna isolate my girl and
He's like,
start
I want to take
escalating
an
on the
Uber to the
police.
hospital, get a tetanus shot, and then I want to go home and take a shower.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would have been the
So what happened
psycho's
after
part.
that?
Yeah, so I isolate my girl real quick. I even say like, oh, hey, let's go. And she's like, okay, yeah, let's go. And then we just go to the room and we start making out again. We start making out without any like like proper sexual tension building up. Nothing. I just start fucking make out. I fucking grab her ass and then slowly I start fucking fingering her. And she's like, no. She says no. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then I stop for like 20 seconds and I start making out again. Like I don't even try to sexualize it. Like I don't even try to what build any tension up. And I keep doing this. I keep doing this again and again. She keeps saying no. She keeps saying no, but like in a very normal way. It didn't seem like no, fuck no. She didn't say that. But like I was like still going for it. Like I was still doing it. At some point, I was like, okay, I don't know if this is gonna work, so I'm just gonna whip my dick out. So I whip my dick out and I'm like, yeah, just suck my dick. I say that to her, and then she just puts my dick in her mouth, and then she takes it off, and then she's like, no, I don't want to do it. And then again, I start making out with her. Like I
I'm
finger
just
her
surprised
again.
that she's still making out with you at this point. I mean,
Yeah, because
at this point,
she wanted to get
she
fucked
might be
badly.
just doing it just to spite you. She's like, well, at least this Indian motherfucker's gonna taste his own dick. Like, but okay, so go ahead. So you guys are having a very nice romantic evening, and then
Yeah, yeah. So we were splitting a bottle of wine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so
So
mhm.
yeah, I was fingering her like from underneath the dress, through her panties. I was like fingering her. She's saying no, but she's like liking it. Obviously, she was saying no, 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 no until she was like, no, fuck no, I'm not doing this. She just storms out of the room, and she tells to her friend, and the friend is like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna order Uber and then go home. So yeah, that's what happens for my first prospect of getting laid. And like this, it's so funny. Like this happened more than 3 times. Really hot chicks, like easily 2 points, 2 or 3 points higher than my SMV. Like they were like tall white blondes, big ass tits, big ass. All these girls like just they used to leave because I just did not know how to build tension. I just did not know how to sexualize conversations. I just knew okay, well, this is the time to make out. I'm gonna make out. That's what I used to think. So I was like, okay, well, whatever I'm doing isn't working. Why don't I mean, like, uh, I was still in terms. I mean, like, I wasn't still talking to David. And I was like, yo, David. I mean, I feel like I'm missing something. So why don't you come stay in Vegas with me? So yeah, like I tell him to fly. He comes and stays with me, like, and then we just game hardcore again in Vegas. Every day we're going out. We're staying out until like 6 a.m. or some shit. And yeah, he used to like teach me all these like mindsets, but I still couldn't understand how to like put it into actionable
Wait, so at this
whatever.
point, are you still actively resisting David's advice, or are you kind of open to it?
I was actively resisting it.
That is just insane. So you was
Yeah.
David? How many girls was David sleeping with?
Like after he came to Vegas, I think like the first month he fucked like 3 girls.
Mm-hmm. All right, so he's no longer my business. No, I'm just kidding. No, so okay, so it's just insane. Like it's nothing like to do with you. I think like most people would be like that because they had invested so much time, and you see a guy
Yeah.
who's doing good, but you're still resisting, like because you just don't want to admit that for this long time that you were following wrong advice.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's how hard case I was. Uh, David is saying I wasn't allowed to pull. Yeah, you were supposed to help me to pull first, and then you can pull. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what used to happen. Um, and oh yeah, he had crutches. Just remembered. Yeah, he had crutches. It was so funny.
Oh yeah, this is back when he hurt his knee playing basketball. I remember this because
Yeah.
I had so at this point I had already been in contact with David. Me and David were already
Yeah.
like friends at this point. We were I think we were already planning launching the product, or we were in talks or something like that. Because I
Yeah.
remember that period when he would like send me pictures of him like on crutches and shit, like yo pimping it
Mhm.
or something like that. Um, yeah, I remember that period. Okay, so what happens next?
Yeah. So yeah, like at this point, enter Gabriel Gray. Um, like he flew all the way from South Africa just to be one of the coaches in Vegas Immersion. And it doesn't take a lot for you to be a coach in Vegas Immersion. Like you just have to send them in like a like a less than decent infield of you like making out with a girl or some shit, and then they'll believe that you have talent and that you can coach students.
They ask you one interview
Yeah.
question. Have you ever kissed a girl? You're like, there was this time in middle school. They're like, perfect, you're hired.
Exactly.
Anyway, guys, stay tuned for part two, which is going to show how Mr. Indian PE turned everything around and became Playing with Fire's very own success story.